Hey everyone, welcome back to the studio, and today I'm here with a brand new video for you guys. I'm going to be talking about Cobra Kai Season 4, Episode 7, titled Minefields. I gotta say, solid episode. I don't think it was as good as Episode 6. I think there was some great content we had in here. I really like the Johnny and Miguel thing. I think that was really good. I also really like the Chris and Terry thing. The middle school storyline, I'm still kind of iffy on, and just how it has Daniel's son in it, and I don't know, but let's just go ahead and jump right into that. So, pretty much, we all know that Anthony has a crush on this girl named Leah, who's also friends with Kenny. Anthony is jealous, though, which, I mean, that's fair. And so then Anthony steals Kenny clothes, including the Cobra Kai hoodie, and he brings it back to the house. Daniel confronts him about it, and pretty much, what was I going to say? Anthony admits that he is being bullied and he took it from someone. And yeah, so Anthony is using the story. He's changing it around to make him look like the victim and these other people the bad guys. But he tells Daniel not to go to the school about it because otherwise they'll just, Anthony is the bully. So there's no point in him doing that. He's going to get caught. Of course he does at the end. Okay, so pretty much Daniel brings Anthony out to Cobra Kai to learn how to defend himself and gives him the job to clean the cars because that's the first job that every Miyagi-Do student does. Turns out he pays someone to do it, and that is where the old Anthony kicks in. That's definitely something he would do. He's so spoiled, lazy, but selfish, and that's just the way he was raised. But it's also that device he's always on, I think that teaches him that the world can just, you don't have to do anything. You just have to, sit and, push buttons and everything will turn out for you. And that's just not the way it works. So, and I also feel like there's some parenting issues there that I'm not going to go into. That is more in episode 8. Okay, so, pretty much, we do get a memory that when Anthony was brought home from the hospital, he kicked Mr. Miyagi in the face. And Mr. Miyagi said that is going to be a wild one. You're going to have to watch out for him. And it was more like Sam who ended up being the wild one. Although we're kind of getting more of those layers into Anthony now. And pretty much he tells Daniel that he's going to handle the kid. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that in a bit. But first of all, let's talk about Johnny and Miguel. And Miguel finds Johnny's headband in Carmen's room. So Carmen and Johnny have to come claim that they've been in a relationship or sleeping together for months now. I gotta say, probably at this point. I mean, they've done it way before then, and Miguel never knew that they were, a thing. Ever. So, it took, they were flirting in Season 2. He's just now finding out that they're even in any, a romantic relationship in until Season 4. Sure, he probably had some inklings about it, but once he finds it out, he seems fine with it. But then we have Devin, who's the new girl, and she's brought into Cobra Kai. So Johnny trains her hard, and he trains everyone else hard except Miguel. He's taking it easy on Miguel to try to show that he can be a good father to him, and he's not going to put all this extra work on him. You think that would make Miguel feel good, but it makes him feel even worse. It makes him feel like a baby and a son that Johnny's trying to protect from the world, and he admits that that's not what Johnny used to do. He used to push Miguel out to do these things, not try to keep him back. And then Johnny admits that he's had issues with his own father, and he just wants to be there for Miguel, and he also messed up with Robbie. But he also, luckily they're able to make up at the end, and he's going to teach him a new kick called the Tornado, or the Flying Tornado. And guess who's going to join them? Sam's going to join them to learn both techniques. Once Daniel finds out, he's going to be hella mad. And he does find out, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so let's go back to the whole middle school Anthony-Kenny storyline. So pretty much, Anthony comes up to Kenny and he wants to apologize for everything, to give him back his hoodie. And unfortunately, Kenny uses it as an excuse to finally get revenge on Anthony. Well, for the first time, because it comes back later. So pretty much, Anthony strikes first, or tries to at least, but then Kenny runs to the library, and then he beats these kids up, and is about to beat up Anthony when a teacher comes in, and then they call Daniel and Amanda to the office. It turns out Anthony is the villain. But they think he's the victim. They think he's the one getting bullied. But then they find out that their own son is a villain. I have some issues about this. First of all, I feel bad for Kenny. Like, that's a lot of torture to go through. But I also kind of feel bad for Anthony in the sense that he didn't want to do this. It's called peer pressure. And I think it's something that a lot of kids deal with. I mean, I've had to deal with it too a little bit. So he just built into that peer pressure. He digged himself into it, and it was hard to get out because it was still bullying him this episode. He didn't realize what the consequences would be, but then he ended up figuring them out because he's going to be in big trouble. Also, I feel like Anthony is kind of, not fully, but he's kind of a disrespect on the LaRusso name. Before this, he was not into karate. He just played on games all day. You would not tell this man is a LaRusso. Sam is a true LaRusso. You gotta say it. Like, she copies Daniel in a lot of things she does, but you can also definitely tell that she has that karate power in her, the selflessness and everything. But then you see Anthony, and you almost think like it's a disgrace to the LaRusso name because he just doesn't do any of what Daniel does. He's just not like his dad. And that's not a bad thing because you don't have to be like your father, and I get that people expect you to be like your father if he's like a celebrity, and I'm sure that can be hard sometimes. But yeah, I am glad Anthony got caught and Kenny got his revenge, although I didn't necessarily like when he said, "Ha, got you," in the office. I almost feel that was a little bit rude because I'm sure Anthony was struggling, but then again, he kind of deserved it, so. Okay. Also, one last thing. How did they get the milk into his locker? Like, how? That's like one of the biggest question of this whole season. How did they do that? Like, Jesus. Kids these days. Okay. Finally, I want to talk about Kreese and Terry. Pretty much, Terry says everyone has a weakness and it's up to your opponent to figure out what that weakness is so you can beat them. And then Andy points out that Kreese has a weakness. Well, Kreese is a little bit upset with that, so he decides to make it a competition with Terry. They choose fighters, and whoever gets the most hits owes the other a pack of beer. That's so, like, old people, especially Kreese and Terry. That's just the way it would go with them, especially like in the third movie. Okay, so because Robbie knew Kenny's weak spot, or wait, other way around, sorry. Terry ends up winning. So, yeah, Kreese brings the beer, but he also he's like, I know you said that thing about weakness, and then he brings up the Vietnam thing against Terry. And pretty much says, you have a weakness too, and you need to own up to it. So, yeah, tension. So much. Okay, we're literally 3 episodes left, and we got resolved stuff, but we also got more tension. And that's what I think this episode does good, is building up things for the rest of the season. I do wish we got less of a middle school focus. It just doesn't interest me as much. I mean, I've already gone through middle school, and I do not want to go back there, so it's kind of, the actual drama was kind of annoying to me. But at the end of the day, I am glad. I think Anthony's going to learn his lesson. I'm glad Kenny, figured stuff out, and maybe down the road there's a chance these two could be friends, although based on what happens later on, I don't think so. So yeah, overall good episode. Yeah, so for the next few days, I'm going to try to get episode 8's review out Saturday night, and then I'm going to try to get 9 and 10 up by the end of the day Sunday. So that's kind of a goal. Okay, so anyways, I want to thank everyone for watching the studio. Like, comment, and subscribe, and bye everyone.